I'm Ruth Lipsky, and I work with Lee Hecht Harrison as a career coach. I help people find jobs. A lot of it is going to be based on what your resume looks like, what your LinkedIn profile looks like, your interviewing skills, your networking skills. We're going to talk today about LinkedIn and the tools that LinkedIn has created for you so that you can be found by recruiters and that you can be at the top of search engine optimization. How many people do not have a LinkedIn profile? That makes it so much easier. Okay, we can go right into the presentation side of it then. And we're going to be talking about the tools that LinkedIn has created over the last couple of years. But the first thing we're going to talk about is how recruiters find you on LinkedIn. And you all better sit down because they gave me an hour to talk. So if you're standing up, you might want to find a place to relax a bit. Get some coffee, get one of the cookies out there, but sit down. Okay. When a recruiter goes out onto LinkedIn and is using the LinkedIn Recruiter software, they are going to put in a title, and they're going to put in a couple of skills. They might also put in a geographic location if they feel that that's important. So in this case, we have a recruiter who is taking a look at a project manager job in the greater Chicago area, looking for skills in business strategy and analytics. And what comes up is nearly 43,000 people who could fit that match. Way too many to deal with. So LinkedIn has created some spotlights to start narrowing that down. And the spotlights are going to be, are you open to work? Do you have that feature turned on? And if you're in the LinkedIn Recruiter software, they can see it even if you have not put that banner around your headline, the hashtag open to work. They're also going to be looking at, do you have any connections within our company? Have you connected to somebody in our company because you probably know a little bit more about the company? Are you interested in our company? We'll talk about the features involved in that. And are you an active talent? An active talent? Yes? Oh, through the nose, yes. Recruiters pay about $800 per month per license. So it is something that is used in large companies, and those in the mid-sized companies sometimes use this, but quite often you can do a reasonable search just using the search bars that you have in the program itself. So this is the real big one for big companies. So notice how little information LinkedIn is giving the recruiter. It's going to give the name, the headshot, the headline, that area right underneath your profile shot, and current job and last 2 jobs. That's it. The recruiter has to make a decision based on very little information here. So it's important what you put in your title and in your headline so a recruiter has a better feel. The recruiter is probably going to scroll down through 100, 125 of these little tiny pieces of information in order to pick out the people they want to look at a little bit more closely. So,
on Spotlight features, what is active talent?
We got a definition of that coming up. But there are a couple features that are part of that. The big one is you need to be active on LinkedIn. If you have a LinkedIn profile, you need to be out there looking for jobs. You need to be connecting with people. You need to be posting information. That's a big part of what that is. So, when we take initially that they've got nearly 43,000 possibilities there. Once the recruiter uses the Spotlight features, it comes down to a much more narrow field for them. And LinkedIn never does anything that is not based on their algorithm. So it is not random that this person ended up number 1 on the list. So the people who are listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are the people that fit the LinkedIn algorithm most closely and are going to be pushed to the top of these lists so the recruiter can see them faster. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about what features LinkedIn has to help you on your headlines and titles, on your skills section, and on the Spotlight features that we just saw. So, one thing to remember, when a person lands on your profile, 30% of them aren't going to bother to scroll down. They're going to see the background, they're going to see your headshot, your name, your headline, and the first 4 lines of your about section. That's it. 30% of them, that's enough to tell them everything they need to know about you. 97% of the people who land on your profile aren't going to open up that about section. Don't need to read every little thing about you. However, it is very important for the algorithm to have a large amount of information to parse out and decide if you are really going to be the person who has the best qualifications for this job. So you've got 2 different parts of your LinkedIn. One of them is let's get found by the algorithm by putting as much information out there as you possibly can. And the other is, let's make this readable and enticing so that when a human being comes onto your profile, they're going to be able to be interested enough to see this. So, the headline area, the area right underneath of your picture, has a default of here was your current job at your current company. But now you've got the ability as an unemployed person to say, here are the jobs that I'm interested in, and here's the value I bring to a company. If you are someone that has very specific skills that you think a recruiter is going to be looking for, you're going to put those into your headline. You're going to separate them with a pipe, because that means or in LinkedIn. And if you are going to have titles, generally 2, so that you are showing a little bit of ability to work more than one job. Having information in your headline area is going to tell the recruiter a story. You used to have 300 characters to do that. LinkedIn is narrowing that down to 220 characters if you do not have the premium package. I don't have premium, so everything you see on here, you'll be able to see too. The higher you are in an organization, the more strategic your statement needs to be. So when you're taking a look at a full stack application developer, we know that the recruiter is going to be looking for very specific programs that are going to be needed. Put those in there. Project manager, program manager, putting in, specializing in, focus on, able to. So you give some examples of things that you're able to do that other people who may have the same title may not have in there. The accountant and the senior accountant, increasing productivity in highly regulated industries, tells the recruiter a lot more than if you had just put in strong in leadership, great communication. I like working with people. So put in the things that are going to be a little bit unusual. If Walt Disney had had a LinkedIn profile, he could have put in entrepreneur, communication, creativity, animation. Instead, he probably would have put in, I make dreams come true. So finding something that is going to be helping the world become more customer-centric, creating value for business through marketing strategies, that invites the recruiter to be able to talk with you in more detail about what you mean and how you do that. So this is going to be your best way of talking to a recruiter and having the recruiter find you more interesting than everybody else who has those same titles. Now, the experience section has your titles also. And you saw that in the search that the recruiters do, they have current and the last 2 titles that you've held. You normally put the title that the company gave you. And the title that the company gave you may not mean anything to anybody outside that company. So you're going to interpret that title and say also known as, could also have jobs like. So at Lee Hecht Harrison, my job title is career consultant, but in the industry, career coach is normally more used. So I'll put both of them there, separated by a pipe, either or. That way the recruiter is going to be able to find me and know that just because I've got this title, it also means that title. A lot of people have a title that doesn't have as much information about what they actually do in their job. So when you put in a title like Senior Manager of Talent Development, put in parentheses what you actually do in that job. Put the other titles that will get you noticed. So in the job that I was in, yes, that was my title, but my whole purpose was to convert classroom training into virtual training. So I could take jobs that dealt with instructional design and e-learning development. Put those in your title area. That's where recruiters are searching for the titles. They want to know about it, and even if that wasn't your exact title, get it out there so you know what you did.
As an audience that is primarily looking for the next opportunity, what do you recommend their current job be?
I would add another job to experience, put in the job titles that you're interested in, and then put in as a company, because it is required to have that, looking for the next opportunity, put in something that indicates that you're searching. But in the description area, you can put in a lot of information about what your skills are. And the most recent company that you have, the most recent title in your profile, is given the most weight in the algorithm that LinkedIn is using. So the more recent experience that you have, the job that you're looking for, is going to be looked at most carefully. Yes?
I'm curious, oh, thank you. I'm curious about the use of the pipe versus the parentheses. Is there like a different technical back end?
The pipe means either or. The parenthesis means this is similar to the work that I did. So it's an interpretation of the work. But if you felt better using the pipe as a convention, you could do that also.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Trivia question. I don't know if it was here or another place. It was emphatic about don't use the open to work scenario. They'd rather have somebody that's already working. So I actually turned mine off. Which is better? Is it equal? What's up with that?
Let me tell you what LinkedIn has to say about that. LinkedIn created this hashtag open to work because they felt that there was no shame at being unemployed. And 15 years ago, if you were unemployed, there would be the strong understanding that you were the worst performer and that's why you got laid off. Nowadays, starting about 15 years ago, mergers and acquisitions were taking swaths of extremely talented people and laying them off. Being able to get through the pandemic, cutting back on your business to the core business. Salesman of the month, salesman of the year got cut. Nowadays, it is easier to be unemployed and find a job than the other way. It has shifted completely. And LinkedIn tells us that you are 20% more likely to be found by a recruiter if you have that hashtag open to work. Recruiters don't want to talk you into leaving your job. They don't want to talk you into the benefits of their company versus a company that you're already in. So the hashtag open to work is huge, and I like it visible. Unless you feel that there's a reputation damage for some reason, put it on.
Ruth, can I get in on that?
Sure.
I'm over here to your left. It's me, Foster, over here. You guys know I'm a recruiter, right? And I am not ashamed to tell you guys what is up. Listen, what Ruth is telling you guys is the absolute truth. I, and many other recruiters, another group that I started, guys, is the Texas Recruiter Network. We meet every first Wednesday of every month. And it's loads of recruiters, and we talk about our kind of recruiting kind of stuff, what we like and what we don't like and what we've seen and all kinds of stuff. But guys, we really like what we're talking about right now because it tells me that you probably, for the most part, when I see that on your profile, generally you guys are ready to go. I don't have to wait for you guys to put in a 2 or 3 week notice now that some companies are creating for people before they'll be able to quit their job and go to a new one. So if you're ready to go, what we recruiters like to say, and I'm looking at Matt as I say this, we like to put a butt in the seat. That's our recruiter talk. And we can quickly do that, especially if we're working with a client and we have found one of you guys who the client gets excited about, ready to hire, if you're ready to go quicker, you probably will be chosen.
Yes, I'll third that and say, as you said, if you are a recruiter, you only have so many hours in the day, and it is very busy right now. So who would we rather call? Someone who we call and they're just kicking tires. They may or may not want to talk to us. They may not. They may be happy in their current job, or someone that we know right away. If we talk to them about opportunity, they say, yes, I would love to. So it just saves time. So I agree. Third.
Can I jump? Can I jump in here too?
Yeah.
As a non-recruiter?
Oh, this is good. Thanks, Todd.
And all I do is try to connect people every week. I would tell you, since I'm not a recruiter, that green open to work banner, I love it because I see that green banner on you. And if you're not part of our networks already, whether it be Frisco here or South Lake or wherever, I'm going to reach out to you and invite you and connect you to our network. So that green banner is as much for people who are non-recruiters as it is for recruiters. And to another point these gentlemen were bringing up, you can go down the road as a recruiter, make somebody an offer, you think they got them, and you finally fill that position. Their current company counters, and now you got to start the process all over again. So yes, having that open to work is definitely an advantage in this marketplace.
Oh, wow. Sorry, Ruth.
You're doing fine.
The other thing I want to add is you got to consider that less than 50% of recruiters pay Microsoft for the recruiting package. Ruth uses the free package. I use the free package. I don't know if Foster pays, but when we're looking for candidates or we're looking for people, we're just looking to see who do we know in our network. So by adding that banner, it will not hurt you. And the other thing is, if you're posting and if you're active on LinkedIn, your contacts, people you knew at old companies will see, oh, I didn't know Joe's out looking for a job. I enjoyed working with Joe. I'm going to call Joe up. So you can't hurt yourself by doing it. And I think any recruiter or anybody else who says you shouldn't do it, they haven't been unemployed.
Was that a strong enough statement? Excellent. Okay. You notice that when we were taking a look at what recruiters are looking for, they're going to look for title. They also look for skills. The skills you have in your profile and in your resume, but in your profile on LinkedIn need to be the skills that the recruiter thinks are important for success in that job. And here's a way to do it. Way too complicated. Let's go and do this one live. When you're on your LinkedIn profile, you've got a More button right down here. If you click on the More button, one of the things that you're allowed to do is build a resume. And when you click on Build a Resume, it says, do you want to create that from your profile? Yes, you want to use the information that's in your profile. Now it's saying that you need to give me a job title first. LinkedIn has standardized job titles, and when a recruiter is doing a search on LinkedIn, they're not using the title within the company necessarily. They're using one of the titles that LinkedIn has created. And there's 6,000 of them. There's not a list out there, but when you're entering something like this, you have to use one of those 6,000. So let's say that we are looking for a project manager role. So we're going to click on that. See, it's not a free-form field. It's one that LinkedIn acknowledges as a title.
You can use only one?
One at a time. So when this comes up, it's going to say, here's your resume over on the left-hand side. But on the right-hand side, it's got Resume Insights. And it says, if you're looking for a project manager job, we found these skills on your resume. Good job. These are things associated with success in project management. But here are some suggested skills that you might want to add because these are things that recruiters expect to see on your profile. So being able to take a look at this and say, here's the set of skills that is going to be necessary for a recruiter to find me, get those in there. Now, if you wanted to do that again, and let's go on back. So the question is, can you do it more than once? Sure. Click on the More button again. And when you click on More, you're going to build a resume. You're going to create it from your profile. And this time we're going to say, I want it to be a career counselor. Apply that one. And now I've not got another set. Here are the skills that were found in your LinkedIn profile. Well done. These are things that are needed. And here's some things that, we really expect to find. So for each type of job that you're looking for, create a new resume, find the skills that are needed, make sure you've got them in your profile. And you can put them anywhere in your profile. It can be in the skills area, it can be in your experience section, it can be in your about section. Your about section is the biggest area of LinkedIn. It is 2,600 characters deep. You've got tons of room to put in stories about how you've used these skills. And stories are one of the things that recruiters are going to be most interested in seeing. You can say that you've got these skills, but being able to say, and here's a time when I used them, is going to be important. Now, you're saying, I've got that in my experience section. I've got all these bullet points that talk about what I did, how I did it, what my results were. Move those up into your about section. Because as you saw, no one's going to read your experience section. If you're in luck and you're looking at a recruiter, the recruiter's probably going to read your about section because it's looking for more information. Is it going to be a repeat of the experience? Yes. LinkedIn rewards you for repeating stories and repeating skills. The more often you say you have one of these skills, the higher LinkedIn feels that you have that skill capability. So if you wanted to say that you were very strong in learning development, if you say that in your skill section, in your about section, in your experience section, you said it 3 times and LinkedIn is saying, wow, we got an expert on our hands here. LinkedIn can count up to 5. Okay, so the more information that you have on your profile and the more times you repeat that you have a skill, LinkedIn can count up to 5. As soon as you reach 5 for a skill, it gives you maximum number of points for capabilities. Applicant tracking systems can only count up to 3, by the way. So, going to be able to find skills? Questions on that? Okay, let's go on back. That's a complicated slide, so easier sometimes to go into LinkedIn itself. The other way that you can prove that you've got a skill is that LinkedIn has created a skill assessment. And a skill assessment is going to be able to say, here are the technical skills that have tests associated with them. Take the test. It used to be that recruiters had to rely on the number of endorsements that a person had for that skill. Recruiters found out that that was not necessarily an accurate way of determining if a person was truly skilled. Probably had more to do with how good their social network was. So, skill test. It can be in a technical field. It can be in a business field. Most of those are going to be in the Microsoft Suite area. Or it could be in the design. And if you pass one of these, you are probably 20% more likely to be hired for a job that requires that as a skill. So what's it look like? When you go into your skills area on your LinkedIn profile, there's going to be a blue outline box that says demonstrate skills. And you can pick from any one of the skills that are listed there that have a test associated with them. Notice that it tells you a little bit about that. Can you see that enough? So it's bigger? That might help. I was having trouble reading it, and I knew what to look for. Okay, still a little bit tight, but LinkedIn will tell you how many questions they're going to be. There's normally 15 to 20 questions. They are going to be multiple choice. They are going to cover all components of that particular skill, and it is a timed test. It will tell you the number of minutes you get for each one of those so that you can't go out and Google the answer. You take the test once. You need a 70% in order to pass it. If you do pass it, then you are going to get a great work. You earned a badge. And you have a little blue with a check mark that's going to be next to your skill. But notice when you're taking a look here, you can do a practice test. So if you have a skill that you think is important, go ahead and take the practice test. then take the test itself, because there may be some parts that you just weren't comfortable with and you didn't even know it.
Well, can you take that test more than once?
You can take the test more than once, but if you do not pass the test, nobody sees that. It is not recorded anywhere that a recruiter can check and see, did you really pass that Excel test or not? But you have to wait 6 months before you take the next test. And if you fail it a second time, you will never be allowed to take that test again. So be prepared. Practice tests are good. Yes, sir.
Yeah, the blue badge is necessary for the recruiter to see. Sorry. The blue badge is necessary for the...
The recruiter will be able to see this, yes, so that, and the recruiter will be able to search on this also, so that, let's go into my profile again. So if I'm on my profile off of this resume creation page, and I go down to my skills section, I'm going to, a recruiter can look at your skills section and they can say that they're looking for some particular skills, but they'll also be able to see that you have some skills where you have passed the test. So I've passed these 4 tests. They have that little checkbox by it. It's obvious to a recruiter that it is something that was passed and was completed, and I have expertise in that area. They can also search for people who have passed that test. So if they're looking for a business analyst and they think Excel is an important part of being an Excel analyst, they can put in a section of their search that says, I only want to look at people who have passed this exam. So if you feel it's a skill that's needed, take the practice test, then take the test.
Hi, Ruth. Do these have any time expirations? You know, kind of like when you take a certification exam and it's valid for 2 years or anything like that?
What they're saying is that this is only good for 1 year, so that after 1 year, that badge is going to disappear because they feel that there may be some additional information and features that are added to that, and you need to be able to show competency in that. So 1 year, then you get to retake it.
I don't know if you need this, but here you go.
How do you get to the skill assessment?
When you're on your skills portion of your LinkedIn page, it'll be right at the top here. That blue outline demonstrates skills, and when you go into that area, it's going to be able to say, here are the skills that we have available for testing. It's got a pretty comprehensive list. It's the ones that are generally needed in an organization these days. Other questions?
Yes, we have one here. One more back here.
Okay.
I'm on that page now, and for some reason on mine, it says beta next to it. Is it not unlocked for me?
Scroll down just a little bit. The beta tests are the ones that they are testing out the assessments on. Mm-hmm. And if you scroll down a bit, is there an area that you can open up?
Oh, I see now. So that has the whole like grouping of the.
Then you open it up. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then one last question. Do these, where does the badge go? Does it go under the certification area? Because I have a further question about that. It seems like we're not able to like reorder our certifications. So for instance, my PMP certification is all the way at the bottom and it's not visible because I've taken others. And I don't know, maybe that's just a feature
If it's
LinkedIn
important for your job, you put it by your name.
Right.
So
right.
Now you've got it in your name area, and people will be able to see it much faster that way than if you had put it there. And you're right, that's one of the areas that are a concern. They don't allow you to reorder.
That.
You can reorder your skills, but
Yeah.
you can't reorder it. It's based on the date that you earned it.
Okay. Thank you.
Same question? Yay, okay. Skills. The other thing that LinkedIn has done that has been phenomenally good for a job seeker is that they have created a list of skills that are going to be important for success in that role. And we call this the Career Explorer. This is a separate page from your LinkedIn profile. It is an independent page, and you're going to have to go to a different area for that. But what it does is it allows you to put in a job title and find out what skills are associated with that. So if we stayed with our project manager position, and let's say that it is implementation project manager. LinkedIn is now giving you the skills that are associated with this type of role, and it gives them in the order of importance. So project implementation is going to be the most needed skill or the most sought after skill for that particular role. And as you go down, they're all important or they wouldn't be here, but they're going to be providing you with additional information on things that you might want to add to your profile, things that recruiters might want to see.
How did you get to that again? I'm sorry, I was looking down when you clicked over. So.
It's a secret. Much better. How do you get there? Type in Career Explorer to your search engine, and you'll be able to bring this up.
And is it open for everyone? Or
This is free. Everything I have on here is free for everybody. Now, if that wasn't good enough, it also tells you over to the right-hand side, what is your next job going to be? So from a implementation project manager, maybe just going to an implementation manager, you've got a skill match of about 91%, and it will tell you which jobs are going to be, or which skills are going to be the same, and which ones are going to be unique, and which ones are going to be important for you to learn more about. Now, you have a couple different searches here. So at this point, we're looking for jobs that are similar to what you've pulled up. So implementation manager, director of implementation, implementation specialist. And you can see that they go down a little bit each time as far as what the match rate is. But you can also take a look at, so we're looking right now at similarity score. We can change that, so maybe you want to take a look at the ones that are popular, not necessarily similar, but if I've been an implementation manager, is there some other type of role that I should be looking at? So you can find these through here, find the skills. You can also find jobs, or find people who have connections to this, who have similar skills. So this is fairly new on LinkedIn, but it gives you an immense amount of information about the skills that are going to be needed. These are also going to be basically the hard skills. You're not going to see leadership and communication. And you have to have those in your profile because they're in the job postings, and that's part of the way the algorithm is looking for all keywords. But finding the words that are going to be, the technical words are going to have a higher value in an algorithm than the social skills are. So use these first.
I have a question. I could borrow her mic. As far as what LinkedIn has, does it carry across to the ATS systems, right? The scanning systems?
LinkedIn has connected with a lot of applicant tracking systems. The only one that we know that they have not connected with is Taleo, where it does not. So have you seen Easy Apply on the job? Okay, Easy Apply means that LinkedIn and that applicant tracking system for the company are connected, and that they feel comfortable pushing your information into the applicant tracking system. But the algorithms and the searches are different from a company applicant tracking system than for LinkedIn. LinkedIn uses more artificial intelligence. Applicant tracking systems still use a lot of direct matching instead of looking for the root word analysis. So if they're looking for somebody who is creative and you say you have creativity, the applicant tracking system for a company is probably not going to pick that up as a similar skill, and you don't get credit for it. But on LinkedIn you would. But LinkedIn has standardized all of its skills. Have you been in the skill section and you put in, I have this skill, and you're typing in something and it gives you some choices? That's normally not a free-form field in skills. It's saying, here are the skills that recruiters are using. Use the exact words that the recruiters are looking for so that you have the higher opportunity of a match. So now, if you're writing a resume, you still have to worry about, am I an adjective? Am I a noun? Am I an adverb? On LinkedIn, it says, use our skills. This is what recruiters are using. We want you to use the same words that recruiters could use in a search. Okay, good question there, too. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, my question is, I know you talked about what is free. You know, lots of times I always see try premium for 1 month. You know, I know, oh, you'll have better searches. Can you comment on the premium feature, or is that coming up? Okay.
Talk about it now. LinkedIn is trying to push people more toward premium. It used to be that everything that you needed was comfortably in a free account. Now they've changed it so that in your headline area, you might only have 220 characters instead of 300. Doesn't give you as much room to explain who you are and what value you bring to a new company. The number of connections you can make per month are now limited to 10 that you can put a story with, a connection request to. And that limits everybody because we're trying to make connections. We want to know who the people are, and we want them to know who we are. So not being able to personalize a connect request, I think, is a big problem. So Premium has always had a little bit more information. It'll give you more information about the companies that you are looking at. It'll give you more information about the statistics associated with hiring within a company. You could do a perfectly good job search without it, though. You're just a little bit more limited. So I would not suggest it because I think there are other ways of finding that information. Okay. Back to career exploration. Yeah, absolutely one of my best finds. All right, we started talking about open to work and got a rousing thumbs up on this. But let's take a look at that. LinkedIn is saying that if you have the hashtag open to work, you are going to receive more notes from recruiters asking you for interviews.
I have a question, just clarification for people. So we know there's a banner we can add, but when you're talking about the hashtag, are you speaking specifically to place that somewhere in your, top section there where your name and everything is?
The only place you should have open to work is the area that LinkedIn has provided to you. So the hashtag open to work area in that open to work, either have the banner by your name, which is generally the best, or at least have it as a search that only the recruiters can find. Okay. Do not put that in your headline area. That is not important to a recruiter, and a hashtag will distort the search by the algorithm and you will not be found. So if you have anything cute in your headline or in your title area, little stars or fireworks, get them out of there. You're not being found. It's cute once they find you, but they're not going to find you. So the hashtag open to work, have it on. It ages. So after 2 months, LinkedIn feels maybe you're not really open to work. Maybe you found a job and you just forgot to turn this off. So they start considering this to be stale, and they're not going to give it as big a push in the algorithm. Every 2 months, turn it off, then turn it right back on again. You don't need to wait a day or anything else. Turn it off, turn it back on. It is the filter that is most used by recruiters in the LinkedIn recruiter software.
Ruth, I've always heard that it was hashtag O&O. Are you saying hashtag open to work is what we should be using?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
When you talk about open to work, is hashtag is every 2 months or turn on, turn off? What's the benefit?
The question was, what's the benefit of having the hashtag open to work? It allows the recruiters to be able to find you faster. And recruiters want people who are available today. They want to fill a job quickly, and rather than posting a job and waiting a month for all the applications to come in, go through the applicant tracking system, sort through, they can go out and they can find people. But the people that they find are normally people that they want to be able to contact directly and immediately, and the hashtag open to work tells them that. So, one of the best features that recruiters have asked to be added. Now, the next spotlight feature we're going to talk about is mutual interest. Companies want to know that you're interested in them. So they may be looking for somebody that has this title, these skills, but if you are saying that you like their company, you know something about their company, they're going to be much more likely to contact you. There are 4 ways to show interest in a company, and we're going to go on to LinkedIn, and we're going to go to the search bar at the top here, and let me just say Amazon. You're going to see that Amazon comes up in the searches. Whenever LinkedIn gives you a choice, pick one of the choices, because it normally gives you a broader range, so that if you're on the Jobs tab and you're putting in a title, take one of the titles that LinkedIn offers you in the drop-down, because it gives you everything in the job family as opposed to the job that is specific for that. So if we're going to take a look at Amazon or any other company, it's going to offer you the opportunity to say, do you want to follow it or do you want to view the page? You want to take a look at the LinkedIn page. And on the LinkedIn page, there's going to be a follow button. Boom. Big blue follow button, because it wants you to follow them. And what that does is it allows Amazon, or the company that you're following, permission to add information to your home page. And on your home page, it's going to put in, here's our financials, here's our new products, here's our employee engagement activities. It's going to be able to post information to you because you're interested in the company. And by following the company, it gives them the opportunity to push information to you. But the other thing that you can be doing is in this section down at the bottom here. You've got home, about, post, jobs, life, people. When you click in about and then scroll down just a little bit, are you interested in working with us in the future? I'm interested. Click on I'm interested. What that normally means is that you haven't found a job that's really quite specific to what you want to do, but you are interested in opportunities for the company. You just don't have anything in mind right now. But showing interest is going to bring you up higher in any search that that company is doing, because now it knows you're interested in them to the point where you want to join them. Great thing to be able to do. So that's 2 things we're doing. We're following them, and we're going to the About section, and we're saying I'm interested. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to go to the Jobs area, and you're not really looking for jobs because you'll find a better set of jobs on the company website, but it does allow you to create a job alert. Boom. Right there. Creating a job alert will allow you to have the most powerful opportunity of saying what it is you're interested in, because now it's saying, what kind of job are you looking for? Well, maybe a project manager job. What kind of location? DFW Metroplex. And then you put that out there. Now there's a plus here, because anytime Amazon posts a job for a project manager that matches the skills that I've got in my profile, LinkedIn is going to push back a list of profiles and say, these are people who are interested in project manager roles at your company, who are following your company. You might want to look at these 12 people first. Huge plus. So being able to tell a company exactly what you're looking for, exactly where you're looking for it, is going to be a way of coming up in the algorithm immediately for that type of role. Here's the problem. You only get 12 job alerts. And you're going to want some of them for your jobs tab, because on your jobs tab, you're going to want to have an identification of what jobs you want also. So you can't do this for every company that's on your targeted list. You can only do it for the companies that you think have the best opportunity associated with your career goals. Okay on those? Okay.
If you're a premium user, is it still limited to 12?
Yes. Too bad. So even if you have premium, you still only get 20. 20, 20. Ah, sorry. 20, 12. It's a lot better than, see, now you're already happier. All right, so we have 3 things that we've done on this page. We have followed, we have said, I'm interested in the About section, we have created a job alert, if this is a company that we really like. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at people, because part of the Spotlight feature is, are you connected to anybody in our company? Because that normally says that you have more interest in the company, you may know a little bit more about what we do, how we do it. We're getting one to you immediately, it's coming.
We have a question back here.
Related to the saying I'm interested, I was wondering if that ages. So, you know what I'm saying? Like if they get a list back and here's the people who are interested, is there dates attached to that, or?
LinkedIn has not indicated that that is an aged field. Generally after 2 months, we do say that you should wipe things out and start over again, unless you're still getting a lot of activity. But our understanding is that this stays forever. It probably doesn't, but we don't have a time frame on it yet. Great question. I'll ask LinkedIn. They might know. So one of the features on the Spotlight, are you connected to anybody in our company? Well, when you click on people on this, you can see that there are 842,000 and some odd people who work for Amazon currently. You are given some information about them. So the first column is, where do they live? Where do they study? You can use the features up here at the arrows here and get additional columns. What they do tells you what department they work in. So if you're looking at a large company, there are a lot of people there, you want to narrow it down a bit, maybe go in and say, I want to look at this department only. What they're skilled at, probably not terribly interesting. What they studied, but how you're connected. You've been on LinkedIn for a while. You've connected with people, and you probably don't know where every one of them is, unless you're a stalker, so it's okay to say that you don't know where everybody is. So it could be that somebody that you know is now working for a company that you're interested in. That would be a good thing to know. So you would click on this first and see if you have anybody that is a first-degree connection at the company. I do have a couple. Nice. This allows me to be able to contact them and say, I'm interested in career opportunities at Microsoft. I see that you're working there. How do you like it? Do you know anything about this job? Who the hiring manager is, who the recruiter is. And I understand that Microsoft gives a bonus if somebody you recommend has been hired. Would you like me to use your name? So all of those are reasonable ways of connecting with people. That was way too long because you only have 300 characters, soon to be only 220 characters. But being able to contact somebody you already know is a plus. Now, if you don't have anybody who is a first-degree connection, let's get rid of that filter. You can go to the second-degree connections, because a second-degree connection is certainly not as good, but it at least gives you the opportunity to forge a relationship, and LinkedIn is all about networking. This is what they do. So, second-degree connections, yeah, got a whole bunch of those. It would be tempting to just click the connect button there, but a white connect button gives the automatic, I'd like to be part of your network. And that's not really useful in this case. You'd need to click on their name or their picture and go onto their profile page where there will be a blue connect button. And a blue connect button you can always personalize. And in this case, we have connections in common on LinkedIn. I see that you are in Amazon. I'm considering opportunities. Would love to know how you like it there. Let's connect. So having something that you have in common with them makes it easier for them to connect. Sir.
Just one thing to remember, if you're using your mobile device, the blue connect button sends a generic invitation. You have to click the sub-menu to personalize an invitation. So don't make it consistent, mobile versus using a desktop or laptop.
And don't you think a company would be able to do that? Okay.
I'd like to be king of LinkedIn and I'll fix it.
They just had a layoff, so maybe you need to go in and shake them up. Other things that you can do to connect with people. One of the things that people connect on a lot is, did you go to the same school that I went to? So if it was university, what do we want, Texas? Almost got that in time. I type faster than that. So here you've got, there are 11,000 people who went to the University of Texas. Here they are. You can start narrowing it down by what department they're in, what skills they have, things that might make them a little bit more useful to you. But being able to say, I see you went to the University of Texas. I enjoyed my time there. I'm considering opportunities at Amazon. Let's connect. Being able to use your university is a huge plus because people do connect. They feel that you have something truly in common. If you were smart enough to go to University of Texas, man, you're my kind of person. And especially those universities that have the strong alumni groups. Use them. That's what they're there for. Also, if you've got a kid who is going to the University of Texas, you can say, I'm currently paying tuition at the University of Texas. Let's connect. So you don't have to do it simply for your own school. If your spouse, if your kids, if your cousin, use them all. Let's find ways of getting the connection and making sure that they see a recognition of why they should be part of your team. So 4 ways of connecting with the company. Follow, go to the About section and say, I'm interested, create the job alert, and then find a person that you can connect to. If you are completely lost as to who to connect to, just type in recruiter. Recruiters' jobs are to connect people, to collect them, to keep track of them. So recruiters are generally the best people to connect to because they're more active on LinkedIn, and you need that also. Still going good? Yes. Okay. You need to increase your, we have a question over here?
Yeah, before you jump on to the next thing on that last deal, two-part question. I recently brought up a company and then went to their employees to see if I was connected on a first or second level connection with any of them. And immediately I got an error message that came up that said, you have exceeded your monthly profile searches. So go buy premium if you want to see more. I talked to Terry Sullivan and he said he's never heard of the magic number of profiles that you can actually exceed. Do you know, first part question, do you know of how many is this magic number where you exceed it and can't see anymore?
LinkedIn has that as a feature, but they seem to be waffling as to how many.
Okay.
I've heard a couple different numbers on it,
So we don't know. It's just somebody just exceeded it and now you can't see anymore. Second question then to follow up is an article I read said it's not the number of actual searches that you do when you get to 400 or 500 or something. It's that you could do one search and have the word manager in there and get 1 million profiles. And now you've exceeded the number of profiles even though you only did one search. Do you know if it's the number of searches or the number of profiles that come up?
I'm not sure that that's really a short feature. They were saying that.
It was just
what
an
comes
article
up-
that said it's not the number of searches you do, it's the number of profiles that you're trying to view. And if you try to view 1 million or you have 1 million,
Oh,
you've
trying to
exceeded the
view
number
them.
of profiles.
LinkedIn is trying to say that you should go for quality over quantity, but the only way that you find out who a quality person is by looking at a whole bunch of people who may not be quality. So LinkedIn has a lot of new rules trying to limit what we can do, and that's hurting the job seeker, which is a little odd because they put in so many other features that are going to be helpful for us, and then they take away our ability to network, take away our ability to connect with people. So they're a little schizophrenic right now. And some of their decisions, they're changing. So stay tuned for more updates, huh? Let's talk about increasing your visibility and being active, because the Spotlight feature for active talent, and we've talked about active talent a little earlier as one of the key spotlights, it means that you're active on LinkedIn. You're doing things on LinkedIn. You're likely to respond to a recruiter's reach to you. You have updated your profile in some way recently. You've put a resume onto your profile page, and that you work in an organization with a recent layoff. If you have been laid off in the last 6 months, you come up higher in a recruiter search because you're more likely to be willing to find a job quickly. So let's talk about each one of those. To be active on LinkedIn.
As far as that last point, thank you. As far as that last point, layoff, is that based on like media or social post or public information, or where is that coming from?
Good point. LinkedIn is finding that on all companies report into LinkedIn if they want that to be part of the search.
So if a company didn't do that,
LinkedIn might still know it because of the media that's out there associated with that. But it does not seem to be anything formal at this point. Uh-huh. Being active. On the home page, you can be active because LinkedIn is putting information on your home page that it thinks you're going to be interested in. It's because of the companies that you're following. It's because of the articles that you have looked at. But you should comment on the posts. So if there's a post on your home page and it's something that you think is interesting or that you have something in common with, reply to it in the post. Because what that's going to do is it is going to tell LinkedIn that you are starting a conversation. And LinkedIn wants to be in a position where you go to LinkedIn in order to network with people, to talk with people, to share information with people. And when you're on a post, you want to be able to say more than just thanks. You want to do more than just click that happy face. The happy face gives you no points. Recruiters don't care if you're happy. They care that you are engaged in a conversation and that you want to continue that conversation. So it used to be a minimum of 8 words. Now it's 12. So now you have to say, thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate hearing about this. Boom. Done. All right. Don't use emojis anywhere. They don't show up well on searches, and they can be used incorrectly. So don't use those. But at least 3 times a week, go out onto your homepage, find something to comment on, say something 12 words long. If you want to post content, you can do that at the top of the homepage. And when you post comment, you can either take an article that you found somewhere out on the internet and bring that into LinkedIn with a comment saying, I find this interesting. I always thought just the opposite. It's nice to see that somebody studied this in more detail. And then you post it. That's an easy thing to do because most of the time when you're out looking for a job, you've got other tabs open and you're looking for things that might be interesting. All business, I'm sure. But being able to post that then with your name on it is going to be able to show that you're engaging other people. Don't post on Mondays and Fridays because a big part of your audience is going to be working people. And Monday mornings and Friday afternoons, yikes, no.
Ruth, I tend to read a lot of articles on LinkedIn, and sometimes I repost them to my page. Does that give me the same as bringing an article from the outside in?
It gives you more.
Okay, great. Thanks.
So as far as who's going to get the most points and how is LinkedIn going to be dealing with you best, if it is in a just comment section, you get a certain set of points. If it is a conversation so that you are replying to somebody who posted on you, that gives you a higher number of points. If you repost something, that's a higher number of points. And if it's original content, even better. Lots of points. Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we are getting a survey. Sometimes you are a part of a project management group or something like that. Somebody is putting survey with 4 options. Do you need to, if we respond to that survey, whether we will get a point or not?
One of the tools that LinkedIn has recently added is the way of creating a poll. And that's an easy way to engage. In that case, you would just click whichever of those options, there are normally 4, that you feel are most important for you. But you can also put in the comment section why you chose that point. So doing it both ways maximizes your points.
When I post or repost information, should I add the specific organization or specific person, and this is could be benefit for me, or? Yeah.
Being able to put @ and then the person's name brings it up higher and indicates to other people the source of that information. So being able to have the company name, the person's name, generally is a better post than just one that is not. Okay. Replying to recruiter messages. LinkedIn is tracking if you talk to recruiters. On the message page of your LinkedIn profile, if a recruiter reaches out to you and you ignore them because it's not a job you want, LinkedIn knows that. And LinkedIn is going to give your likely to respond down. You want to respond to every recruiter who messages you, even if it's, I'm not interested in that job. So keep that activity. Now, you don't need to reply to anybody who's got a solicitation. There are a lot of people selling on LinkedIn. You don't need to reply to that. But recruiters, yes. We got a question over here?
So I know there's kind of the automatic reply where it's just kind of a form, no, I'm not interested. Does that count the same as sending an actual message back?
Good point. For recruiters, it does. You don't need to give them a lot of information. If you think that there might be other jobs open in their organization, you can say, I'm not interested in that type of role. My career goal is this, so that they have a better feel for it. But if you just want to use one of the pre-populated ones and click on it, that's okay too. Easy enough. Okay, questions?
Just a quick question is, I applied the position is about 2 months ago, and I see well is the company still post the same position again and again. So my question is, are they considering my resume seriously, or what happened? By now I didn't receive anything yet.
If a company reposts and you're sure that it's the same one and it's not just another job that is similar to the one you looked at, sometimes they'll repost because they didn't get enough candidates they felt were strong enough to start the interview process. So if it's reposted, quite often they're looking for a larger number of recipients and people who are going to be applying.
I've also been told LinkedIn actually reposts some of those separate from the company. Is that true?
They can, but the way a company works is that they've got a block that they buy from LinkedIn, and they can move jobs in and out of that as needed. So if they've got a job on there that they put out there and they're starting to collect information and resumes for it, but another job comes up that's hotter, they'll take that job off, put another one on, and then when they bring that one back on, it looks like it's reposted, but it's really not. It's reposted on LinkedIn, but it was always open on that company's website.
Hello. Hi, Ruth. I have a question. I put my resume open, right, open to work on LinkedIn, but I didn't have the banner like next to my profile picture. How do I do that? That to add the banner, like the hashtag open to work. Okay. Then
You would make sure, and if we're running out of time, you let me know. I thought we might. Right, so when you're in your open to work area, you have the option of saying, I want the banner so that everybody on LinkedIn in public can see it, or you can just say, I only want the recruiters who are using the LinkedIn recruiter software to use it.
So let's see, what do we do now? Wow. We listen to some more Ruth. And was that okay? Was that okay? And I am pleased that my business partner and longtime friend and sister and all this stuff is up here. You guys recognize this lady, don't you? She presented to us probably about, I think, 2-3 months ago. But there is a function of LinkedIn that I think Nigel wants to share with us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just want to know, are there any premium members on LinkedIn in the room? Okay, we got a bunch of us. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay, this is good. I believe that there is a feature on LinkedIn where it pops up and asks you if you'd like to gift premium membership. You seen it? Oh, there's my friend. She's seen it. Great. Okay. I think everybody who is a premium member should connect with somebody who does not have a premium membership, right? And in the spirit of the holiday and the gift that keeps on giving, gift a premium membership to your neighbor or whoever does not have one, because it will help them in their search. And that way they won't have to spend $30 or whatever it is for a number of months. And then they can decide after reviewing it for the next 90 days if it's something that they want to continue with. So all of my folks who have a premium membership, hand up. Okay. Everybody who does not have a premium membership, no. I did not say put your hand down. I said hand up. No. Okay. Everybody who does not have a premium membership, find somebody at your table, beside you, the table across from you, and talk to them, share emails, and see if they be willing to gift, and they should because they're here, and I just said do it. Right? Get their email address and gift memberships to folks who need one that are around you guys, because this is where we help each other out, and this is what networking is all about. So, all right. So I'm going to leave my hand up. If somebody needs to get my information, just walk up here and get it. And like I said, the people next to you, make sure that you connect and get what you need. Oh, wait a minute. How do you gift it? I think you have to be on your laptop. So I do think I don't know that we can do it from the phone, but I think you have to be on your laptop. And here's the thing, if you just get the person's email, what I'll do, because I just love you guys, right? Somebody's calling me. They should not. If I will write an article later today, I will post it on my LinkedIn page. If you follow me, I'm Nigel Stokes Fisher on LinkedIn. Then just look for my post later today, and I will tell you how to gift that LinkedIn Premium membership. I want to say it's to 3 people you get to gift to, and how you can gift it and share. So just make sure that you connect. If you don't have one, give me your information, give Foster your information, find Pete, give him your information, right? And then what we'll do is make sure that we share how to gift. Can you spell your first name? I know some people. Oh, first name, Nigel, Nigeal.
She's the only girl, Nigel, I know.
I am. And it has an A after the E because my mom thought it was cute. Right. All right. Anything else?
Do you need to be a premium member to gift?
You do. You need to be a premium member to gift. So if you're not a premium member, like I said, just find your premium friends, right? We all need them, and connect with them or share your email address, and then we'll make sure that we get somebody to share you one. Pete. Oh, no, I think they allow up to 3. Last time I checked, it was 3 people that you could gift to. So just share the email, like I said, guys, and we'll find a way to start to gift out these memberships, because it's about the end of the year, and I don't know if it's an annual thing or if it's a monthly thing or whatever, but we'll make sure that we get it done. So one person can get it and 3 people can pay for it together? Yeah, one person can, I think, share 3 LinkedIn premium memberships. Right. There you go. And that way, if you, like you said, if you guys want a budget share, get together and, you know, cash app the person who gifted you the membership, $10, $5, $15, whatever suits.
And that's a question for Ruth. That's my question.
I think it's $39 a month, Ruth. Oh, it's 43 now. Okay. Oh, 43 with taxes. Okay.
I'm paying more than that. I got to call you, Ted.
Yeah, you do that. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, Ruth, we are live and in effect again. So I'm shutting up and handing it back to you.
Any questions?
Uh-oh.
Questions that we've got?
Ruth, can I ask a clarification? Hello. I'd just like to ask a clarification question. One of the things that I absolutely learned today, which was brilliant, is your tips for the different ways that we can connect with a company. And under one of them, I think it was the fourth tip, was interested in working here. But that was the one, I believe, that had a limitation of up to 20. So you said use your discretion when you're doing that. But the part I didn't catch, which I'd like clarity on, is you said if there are 20 total that you can do that with, if, you know, check the I'd like to work here. You said use it judiciously because it impacts another area of LinkedIn, and it's that secondary area that I didn't understand where you were referring to. So if you could flesh that out a little bit, I sure would appreciate it, because I'd like to use that. Thank you.
Okay, you can use the I'm interested as many times as you want. It's setting up the job alert on the company that's going to make a difference. So
I just had a question about the career break functionality in LinkedIn. What's your advice on the usage of that?
the career break is a new addition by LinkedIn, which means it was happening in the last month or so, or last year or so. And what it does is that it allows you to put in a reason for a gap between jobs. And it gives you a couple different options. It could be bereavement, it could be family support, it could be that you just decided to travel for the last couple months. It does not act the same as if you had a job. So it still shows that you're unemployed if you're using that. If you wanted to show that you are in an employed status, and there's a benefit on the LinkedIn algorithm to show that you are actively employed in something, even if you've got the open to work area. They still have some of those algorithms from 10 years ago. You put in instead a, I want to be a project manager type statement as a new job. Put in the different titles that you're looking for as if you had a new job, so that you'll be able to come up higher in the searches. But if it's a short break, say 3 months or so, yeah, the career breaks are fine then.
Okay, I was actually planning to use it as a career transition, so maybe it's better just to add that new job looking for that transition instead. Is that right?
Generally so. It's nice to be able to put the career break after you have a new job.
Okay, thank you.
And a lot of times that's the better way to do it. Now that you have a job, you have to be able to explain the 6 months it took to find you the job. Put that in as a looking for a job. There's a transition area of the break.
Should I put that or just leave it looking for a job? I'm working at Costco right now doing seasonal work. I'm curious, should I put that on my LinkedIn or just leave it looking for work and put that I got a real job when I get one,
All right, recruiters in the room, what do you think about that? You've got you got a part-time job or a short-term job at Costco. It is not your career desire. Is that good? Do you put it on LinkedIn? Do you put it on your resume? What do you think?
Put it on there if you're comfortable putting it on there. You will have to explain it if it's on there. So get your explanation together. You want to be prepared for anything that you put on your information. And Pete's got a...
I agree, Foster. It's a personal choice, but I would say, Sean, if you're doing anything that supports your true endeavor, which you're really looking for, definitely put it on there. If you're working with customers, stuff like that, it shows your customer service. If you're doing inventory, if you're a supply chain person, it shows all that. So if it supports what you're already doing or looking for, absolutely put it on there, because it's just one more thing showing you still have those skills.
And like, for example, I want to do sales, but I've never done sales for a real job. But Costco had this upgrade weekend, like for a week, and I was chosen to like help customers upgrade. And as this temporary seasonal employee, I was the #1 guy. So I can put that as an
Hello, absolutely. Absolutely. Showing your sales skills, that's ideal. Without a doubt, we put it on there.
Especially the accomplishment.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, let's go back to Kelly's question. The alerts that we're creating on the company page, 20, you have 20 available to you. You want to use those on the company pages, but you also want to use them on the Jobs tab. And when you're on the Jobs tab, you're going to be putting in right up there, a title. And Kelly, give me a title.
Training manager.
And we're going to be looking for a drop down. And then we will have a pop-up for a location. And we want to say that we want it in the Dallas-Fort Worth area? Yes. Okay. Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We can change that later. Now you've got a whole bunch of results here. Still, you're going to go over to the All Filters area, because when you open up the All Filters, you have a panel that comes out. You're going to want to say, do you want direct reports or not? We're going to say that you're mid-senior because you want to have managers. You're going to skip the company and go to the job type, full-time. Skip the remote. Job collections. Green jobs means that these are jobs in the environmental industry, either products or services that are associated with environmental integrity. Location, you're going to skip, but industry is going to be important. There are 149 different industries from LinkedIn, and you are going to be most needed in an industry that is similar to what you had before. So if you were in the manufacturing industry, you could be in chemicals, you could be in automobiles, you could be in food and beverage. Finding something that is similar is going to be an important part of narrowing it down. So what was your last industry, Kelly?
It was actually media, but let's go with manufacturing. That'll be easier.
Okay.
A contract job I recently completed.
All right. So we can add an industry through here. And let's call it, manufacturing is actually not one of their groups. Tell you what. Did you see it there? Tell you what. That wasn't quite enough. Don't know why that popped up. Oh, nothing like having. Okay, go back to all filters, sorry. I'm going to say that you want to be in nonprofits. That's always a good one. Dallas is a good area for nonprofits. Skip job function, skip title, because you're sorting those out as you go along. Salary is going to be one of your best features, because no matter what title you see on a job posting, you're really interested in what does the pay and where does this fit in the organization. So you're going to take a lower level position by title if it pays you more. So let's say that we're only looking for jobs that are 120 base pay or more. Whoop. We're not getting many here. Sorry, Kelly. It's just not out there for you. Okay. So on the bottom right-hand side, you've got a blue box that has the number of options left. And now with the types of search that you've put in here, you've got a series of jobs. LinkedIn always has a reason for giving you things in a specific order. However, in this case, you can see that this top job says that it was promoted. And when it says promoted, it means that the company has paid LinkedIn to bring this to the top of your list. It means that it's a job they're hiring from the outside. And we know that about 20% of the jobs on job boards are ghost jobs. They are jobs that they're posting to the outside, but they have somebody internal that they're already going to give that job to. So it doesn't matter how well qualified you are, you're not going to get that job. The internal person will. You can't tell. But if it says promoted and the company has paid LinkedIn an enormous amount of money to bring it to the top of your list, then they are hiring from the outside and they want to move quickly. It may not be the best fit for your skills that you have on your job profile, but it's one that you probably need to look at. There's also what looks to be a green arrow with a target and it says actively recruiting next to it. That is LinkedIn's designation that they have watched the activity of the recruiter, and they can assure you that this is a job that they are sourcing from the outside of the company. So that's a good thing to see, too. It's a real job. What is that? The actively recruiting, where it's got the green target and arrow there on that top job. All right, so if you found that you had jobs that you thought were a good fit so far, then you're going to set the alert. Bing! And anytime LinkedIn has a job that comes in that is a training manager in these industries for this pay in this location, LinkedIn is going to push that to you. And that's going to help your search tremendously because now you don't have to come out onto LinkedIn every time. You can let LinkedIn do the work for you. Now, we have this as a DFW. If we wanted to change this so that it was a remote job, we would go into this area and say, I only am interested in remote jobs. It will hold all of the other filters the same. And now you've got a new set of jobs that are remote but have all the other filters. You can set another alert for this. Normally you're going to get it down to maybe 20 jobs for each one so that it's as close as possible to your ideal job. But some you might want remote, some you might want in an area here, some you might want to look for a higher salary, some you might want for a different title. So the different job alerts that you can make on this page are going to make it easier for you to be finding the job that is going to be best for you instead of sorting through hundreds of jobs that look as if they might almost fit. But these count as part of the 20 job alerts that you're allowed to have. So if you have 6 job alerts going on the Jobs tab, that leaves you with 14 that you can use for companies to be looking at. And if you wanted to get rid of some of the jobs, you can go into the Preferences area of the Jobs tab, and it will give you all of the job alerts. And you can delete them or you can modify them if you feel that the search needs to change. So you're not stuck with it if you have a job alert. Okay.
So if you have these job alerts with LinkedIn, but the company is applying or posting jobs on their own, and then you may not get a job if they don't post them to LinkedIn. Like if you're not monitoring the website for the company, is that what I'm saying?
Right. LinkedIn is not the ultimate and the only place you need to be. If you have companies that you're interested in, they are going to have all jobs on the company website, and you need to go there. LinkedIn is a useful tool to find companies that you might not have known about. But you still need to be taking a look at the companies that are on your plan and go from there.
Quick question on the easy apply button. I read or heard somewhere, do not use that. Go to the company and apply on their site. What's your opinion on that?
It really doesn't matter because the company is connected to LinkedIn, so it's pushing the information of your profile page into their applicant tracking system if you want it that way. You can also use your resume. But if you've got a strong enough profile, you can use the Easy Apply because it's using the massive amount of information that you've got on your profile page and pushing that in, which gives you better results from their applicant tracking system. The only reason that the company is looking at that is that they're trying to decide where to spend their dollars next year on where they're posting their jobs. Are most of the jobs coming from LinkedIn? Are most of the applicants coming from Indeed? They want to know so they know how many jobs to post next year. But no, these days it doesn't matter. It used to, but it doesn't anymore.
Continue the same question is, we understand the LinkedIn is kind of the master profile, right? It covers everything. Well, for the specific position I want to apply, well, maybe focus on the specific skills and, well, I don't want to be so broad of my skill. Should I apply from LinkedIn because LinkedIn will send automatically for the comprehensive profile to the company, or I tailor my resume specifically for this job?
For the type of job that you're looking for, since it has some very specific skills associated with them, and you're finding a small number of jobs that are worth applying for, you're better off adjusting your resume so that it uses the keywords multiple times rather than trying to change your LinkedIn profile that often. So you're better off using a resume that you are tailoring for each job. Okay.
Hi, I actually have an experience from getting a response from a recruiter, and they said when I use the Easy Apply, they get a little bit highlighted information, but not all the information they need. So they asked me directly to send them the resume. How does that look in the recruiter in LinkedIn page? Like they have a different settings, so they don't get to see all the information. That's something that I just want to understand as well.
One of the things you may want to do is on your LinkedIn page, you've got an area to the right here that says public profile and URL. And when you click on that, it's going to, you're probably familiar with this because it allows you to change your URL. LinkedIn always gives you your name and then a bunch of letters and numbers after it. But take a look at your visibility because sometimes when you are on LinkedIn, you have turned something off, and that means that that's not going to be pushed off in an Easy Apply application. So if you have any of these that are not in the green, it means that you're sending an incomplete application when you're using Easy Apply. So check on that as one of your searches. But each type of applicant tracking system is working with LinkedIn in a little bit different way. There are some companies, and Taleo is not connected. Workday, I think, works well. Some of the smaller applicant tracking systems, because there are about 40 of them out there these days, don't bring in all the information the way it should. And it could be that that company is having a problem with a complete transfer of information with LinkedIn.
Ruth, can I add one thing to that? Guys, when internal recruiters like Foster, like me, the Easy Apply is kind of, we're throwing out a net in a lot of ways. Sometimes we're just wanting to see how many people are interested in the role. It doesn't mean that it's not real. It just means we're casting a broad net. When we get that information and things do come up on the side, like how will you match the experience that we put, to Ruth's point, if you didn't send your whole profile, I only got a snippet of you, so to speak. If it doesn't rank high enough in my search criteria, I may or may not reach out to you, right? Because if you're not in my top, I like to say 20%, then I'm not going to reach out to candidates below that. Now I hear companies are maybe looking for 90% match, and then they'll reach out. Each recruiter is going to be different. So 2 thoughts. If it posts the recruiter's name or the job poster's name and you're interested, send them a note directly. If you send them an email and they respond, you get your email back, right? So take that initiative and do that, and then double back around and go back in my ATS the second time and go directly to the website, find the job, and apply there. you can't go wrong because there I got the information that you wanted me to see on you. With LinkedIn, just depends on the way I've configured my system for me to see who all applied on Easy Apply and then what you've decided to release to me. So hopefully that helps some.
That helps me, thank you. In the back here?
Pete, you guys raised?
No.
Oh, Mark.
Oh, we were trying to ignore you. I was just going to add to that comment because a lot of times if you're direct messaging recruiters, it doesn't end up going very far, right? There's good recruiters out there where they'll respond and at least acknowledge, but there are a lot that, you just get the standard ghosting. So another way that you can engage is to engage in that recruiter's content, right? Because if a direct message is not getting to them or they're not reading that, and imagine how many messages a recruiter gets in a day, right? To that extent. So if they are actively posting content, though, you can go and you can engage and comment on their posts and get some additional traction. So I just wanted to put that out there. That's a good way to engage with recruiters without just bombarding them with messages.
Here first. Oh, okay.
Well, a question I have regarding LinkedIn is about people that you connect with. So I had somebody recently try and add me, and so my question is, I know this person that tried to add me, but I don't trust him. That's the so. Is that a good idea or not, to just not add people that you know but don't trust?
Oh, never add anybody that you don't trust. If you have any questions, you don't have to add everybody that requests a contact. If they are from another country that you're not comfortable with, if they have an incomplete profile, and if they are in college and it looks like they're just doing the game of, oh, but I can get to 500 before you can. Don't accept those. Make it worthwhile. You're looking for quality in your network, and yeah, if there's any question, and you can get rid of people that you decide you don't want also. Okay.
Hey, Ruth, the notification bell. Can you tell us what the value of that is and what's the most effective use of that?
Okay. The notification bell you're going to find on somebody else's LinkedIn profile. And it's going to be at the top portion, and it allows you to ring that bell, and it will tell LinkedIn that anytime this person posts, you want to see that at the top of your feed. So if I go onto Foster's page, and he gave me permission to do this, you're going to view the full profile. And there's going to be a bell. The bell does allow you to say, I am interested in the post that this person makes. Every time this person posts, bring it to the top of my home page so that I can see it. The problem with this is that Foster can't see that I've done that. Foster can't see how many people have taken this bell. So at this point, it's useful if you want to keep content coming to you, but you'll never be able to tell, for now, if anybody is using it on your behalf.
You guys stop ringing my bell.
Ruth, is that on the company pages too? I thought I saw a bell on the company pages.
The company pages are a little bit different. Sometimes the company pages content is going to be only available to the people who are employed there. But if you want to go back onto, Amazon was a complete one, wasn't it? Let's see if they have a bell. The follow button should give you the information on your page, but it doesn't necessarily bring it to the top of your page, of your posts. No?
Are you following Amazon already?
No.
I think you might have to follow them first. Not that I'm an expert. I'm just wondering.
Oh, and there is the bell. So, okay.
Oh.
So, well done. All right. Learn something new at every one of these sessions. Yes, sir, Greg?
I got 2 questions for you. One I asked you about earlier, as far as if we're updating our profile, can you turn that off so, you know, people aren't getting like 40 updates constantly?
Like spammed by you?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So what we'll do on that is that we're going to go into, you're using the Me icon on the upper right-hand side, and you're going to go into your settings and privacy. And in settings and privacy, on the left-hand side, you've got the table of contents. You're going to look at visibility. And on visibility, you're going to go down toward the bottom, and it says, share profile updates with your network. Turn that off so that every time you update something, you're not sending a note off to all the people in your network, especially if you're changing the information in your titles or in your headline, because LinkedIn thinks you got a new job, and then you have to admit to everybody that wasn't a new job, it was a wish. Yeah.
All right. My second question is, I followed some groups, and some of them are like I'm getting notifications on them like 10, 12, 15 times a day. If you turn those notifications off, or I mean, keep following them, but turn the notifications off, does that affect the algorithm?
No, it does not.
All right, perfect.
And you can reduce that. So this is going to be on your home page. So let's get onto some home page content. And when you're on your home page, you're going to see content that LinkedIn thinks is going to be useful to you and that you're going to like seeing. But when you're on that page, you can see that you've got the 3 dots to the right of the person's name. If you click on the 3 dots, you're able to say that you don't want to see this. So you can start changing your content. You can still get posts from that person, but you don't want to get posts about this topic. So you can start narrowing it down. And it can be a little tedious, especially if it's a group where you've got a lot of people posting, but you might want to try that.
I just wanted to make sure that it didn't affect what we were talking about earlier about following a company, or I'm interested in a company, that kind of thing.
It won't on that we know of.
I've heard that LinkedIn is doing away with groups and replacing them ultimately with hashtags only.
They are looking at that right now, and part of the reason is that there are 1.8 billion groups on LinkedIn, and 96% of them are inactive. No posts, no requests for membership. They are dead. So, and on top of that, in the last 3 years, LinkedIn has not provided any features that would improve the group activity. So it sounds as if they are abandoning groups. It looks like they want to move into hashtags, because hashtags give you the opportunity to talk more about topics that might be of more interest to you. So if we wanted to take a look at, let's see what this one does. Their hashtags are not working sufficiently right now. So we know that we've got a problem on that, and that's because they were changing their hashtags so that instead of being all one word, all lowercase, they wanted to change it so that each word was capitalized for easy reading. They messed that up badly. I mean, real bad. Now nobody can use hashtags unless you already have a hashtag. So if you have something like hashtag future, 24 million people want to talk about the future. And everything on this page is associated with what's going to happen in the future, how should you be prepared for the future, what are the trends that we should be looking at. This is a good hashtag to follow, because as you're going through the interview process, you could be asked, how are you keeping up to speed on activity that's in the marketplace? You can say, there are 4 hashtags that I feel are important on LinkedIn. I'm active on them. I keep track of what the trends are. So being able to follow the hashtags is generally more important than the groups which were isolated by, here's your title. And now we're seeing that there's so much that can move and is transferable from one title to another that the hashtags are going to be more important. You've got hashtag oil and gas. You've got hashtag job fairs that talks about all the job fairs that are out there. Hashtag training and development. So the hashtags are looking to be more important for LinkedIn. It's not there yet.
Ruth, I'd like to know your thoughts on the use of resumes within LinkedIn. What I mean by that, and I've had very little time to play with this feature, but as I've seen it as part of my profile, perhaps it's under the job section, there's an ability for me to preload multiple PDF-based resumes. And as I understand, tentatively, the feature that might help me very quickly apply for jobs that are posted. I haven't used that feature. I'm not sure if that's a benefit to me. Again, I'd just like to understand your thoughts, because one takeaway from today is the immediacy of response time for us in applying. Thank you.
This is fairly new, and I think recruiters like this a lot because they can utilize the resume to send it through their applicant tracking system and see how you stack up against other people who are applying. The problem with that is that what you post out there as a possible resume may not include all the right words for that particular job. Whereas your LinkedIn profile, having so much more room, probably does include all of that information. So as a person who is going to be applying for a job, I might want to use a resume that I've tailored for that job, or use my complete LinkedIn profile that's got gobs more information. But for a recruiter who wants to take a quick look and see how you compare to others, they probably like that.
Thank you.
Is that real? Is it just people who opened up the job?
Okay, let's go back onto the Jobs tab.
What was the question? Keisha, I'm coming. I used to move faster than that. Too much barbecue. Yes, ma'am.
When you bring up a position, there's usually a number that says number of applicants. Is that people who've opened up the position, people who've actually applied? Because if you applied and not used LinkedIn to apply, how does it count that? So I'm just wanting to know what that number actually reflects.
This is one of the worst things LinkedIn has ever done. And there's a long list out there. On this one, it says that there are 76 applicants for this position. That does not mean 76 people applied for this job. It means 76 people opened this job and looked at it. And if they looked at it more than twice, that counts as 2 different applications.
Oh.
So if you see that there are 500 people who applied for a job, apply for it anyway. It could have been 10 people. Yeah. And that probably means that there are a fair number of people who did apply, but that's only through LinkedIn. If they applied through the company, then LinkedIn doesn't know about that and is not going to count it. But don't be spooked by that number, because we really have doubts as to how real that is.
And what about the timing? How do you know how old the job is?
Well, the timing is normally pretty accurate, because it is going to say, in this case, this was posted 2 days ago. And that probably was, but if it was posted prior to that and they just didn't get enough people involved, or they changed the hiring manager for it and they felt they needed to repost it so they could start all over again, it could mean that this is a repeat of something you've seen before. Apply for it. If the company already has your resume in there, it'll tell you, seriously, you applied for this job. You don't need to apply for it again. But if it is something new, then you do want to be able to apply for it.
So the clock resets when you see it there.
Clock's ticking.
Okay.
Yep. You guys have good questions. This is good.
LinkedIn has been, when, Ruth, was it 5 years ago that Microsoft bought LinkedIn?
About that, yes.
Yeah. And there's always changes. We talked about a lot of changes today, but there's always a litany of questions, a lot of times that I can't even answer. And this is awesome, guys. Oh, Keisha's always good with questions.
So when LinkedIn recommends a position for you, how legitimate is that? Or they say you need to improve on these skills. Can you talk more about that? How important that is that for us?
Oh, it's quite legitimate. When LinkedIn says you are a top candidate or that here's a job that we feel is a good match to your profile, take that as gospel. They truly do a good job of finding the words that are in that job posting, comparing it to all sorts of people who have profiles out there, and find the right people to send that note to. So, yes, that's a good one.
That second part of what you said is very important. Find the right people to send that to. Because that can be, I'm a recruiter now. That can be a little, I don't even know what I'm trying to say.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Guys, when you see that little thing that says you're in the top 25% of candidates, you are. If that job is something that you like, top 50%, go after it. Everything on the back end of LinkedIn, since it's Microsoft owned, is powered by AI. You're going to see, so they've taken the job away from the recruiter, so to speak. They've made their job easy by saying, here are your ideal matches for these positions because they meet the keywords, they are coming up in your search. You're at the top. So it's not fluff. It's AI powered, it's scanning, it's doing job matching, all on the back end to make the recruiter's job easy so that LinkedIn can continue to sell them. This is the place to post your positions because we provide you the best candidates, the best matches, and all of that. And then again, don't get confused over like the views. We just talked about that, the views and the applicants or whatever. It's designed to be just like Bath and Body Works. We're having a candle sale. Think of it as the email that you get the day after Thanksgiving saying all the candles are on sale for 90% off. That's what it is. It's designed to generate application and traction to that posting. It's not to have you afraid like, oh my God, 400 people applied. It means that everybody that got that email when you did went out and looked at it. And that's it.
Okay, Chris.
Thank you. Thank you for the content. It's been really great. Thank you. My question is on remote. You'll see remote United States for a position. You also see remote like Annapolis, Maryland. Does that mean you need to be in Annapolis, Maryland area, or is just remote remains remote? You can be anywhere in the country.
We have seen that as a problem, haven't we? Remote can mean one of two things. One is that it is completely remote, and that has to be mentioned in the job posting. But it could be that this is a hybrid job where we want you to be in the office for some part of the time, but they'll still call that a remote job. So taking a look at what is in the job posting is going to be important on that. And that's one of the things that you can put in your About section. Willing to work remote, willing to work hybrid, willing to work in office, willing to travel. Putting in information in the About section that gives a little bit more about what you're capable of doing and what you're looking for in a job can be useful too.
Yes. Lee's got a question.
Recently, excuse me, I get a lot of requests to apply for jobs that are out of country, but they don't give you a job description. They just want information. And at the same time, I get requests to connect from people that are out of country.
I wouldn't do that.
Okay, that was my question.
There are a lot of scams out there, and LinkedIn has scams that are associated with it. Stay away from anything that looks as if there's no reason for me to connect.
Same thing as the flip well, and just one of those asking for you to apply for a job as well.
If you're looking for a job outside the company, you can change. Yeah. You can change this feature up here, the geography piece, to whatever country you want. But for the most part, don't connect with people outside the company, particularly if they have poorly formed profiles where they don't have much information there.
Okay.
Yes. I got a kind of a side question. Obviously, the topic that we're talking about today is around LinkedIn. But since we got recruiters and other professionals here, I thought maybe I'll pose a question. What's your opinion about some of the other aggregate tools like Indeed and those types of things, right? I know that, we're spending a lot of time in this, and obviously there's a lot of things to do in LinkedIn, but I would like to just get your opinion, should we be spending, time in some of these other ones or just stick to mostly LinkedIn?
We can ask the recruiters about this too, but LinkedIn tends to have jobs that are more professional in nature. Indeed is a conglomerate, so there are a lot of job boards that are feeding into that, and they probably have more jobs than most of the other. Dice would be one that has more technical jobs. So there are some differences in the sites. LinkedIn is just one of many that can be used. Like the way that they have the filters set up so that it's easy to find jobs. Indeed is pretty good at that too, but I think LinkedIn is better as far as the sort features. But let's find out from the recruiters. Are you using them in different ways?
No, you're absolutely right. There's one thing that I want to say, and I'm coming, I promise you. You guys know I always got something to say. I am a people person. I am the recruiter that finds out what's going on. And Jonathan, let's say you're the hiring manager. I want to sit down and talk with you and find out what you want to hire. Now, our tools that we use, guys, when we use a tool, who's in control of the amount of pressure that we put on that tool? Who is in control of how we use that tool? You guys are. The same thing goes for AI and these wonderful things that are happening. Guys, keep up with what's happening. I will probably never be okay with letting the computer take over what I'm doing, because there's always that human element that I am always going to try to keep up with you guys to keep in the process. When I introduce you guys to people, I don't connect the dots on LinkedIn. What you talking about, Foster? Do you have a relationship? Now, Kelly can tell you a little bit about this. If I have a relationship with Greg there, then I can talk to Greg about what's going on. Make a little bit more sense. Dig in, and the technology won't be able to do that. I'm just trying to get you guys to think. This is wonderful. The AI is wonderful. The technology and where we're going. But y'all know AI is just getting started. It's not going there yet. So in the future, we're going to be impressing human engrams onto some of this AI technology. We've already been talking about, I get involved in some of this nerdy stuff, but we're not there yet. So I don't want to see us living in one of those movies that we've watched where all the technology takes over, and I can't do that because that robot won't let me do it. So that's all I'm saying. Go ahead,
My question is in line with like LinkedIn versus Indeed. There are other premium websites where they offer, once you put your profile and criteria that, okay, 125K plus and these senior positions, they offer a bunch of job postings with a salary range and all those things, but they are asking for premium membership, like ladders and expert tiers and those kind of websites. Are they kind of, I don't know.
I don't think you should ever pay anybody to find you a job.
Yeah. Thank you.
No way.
The good headhunters and the recruiters are going to be doing that because they have a need for people like you. You don't need to be paying somebody in order to do that search.
Yeah. So, guys, we're going to start winding it down. We've got Sonica question.
So I'm asking the same question. I know we have answered it, but so the question is that I applied for a job and the recruiter reached out to me and did the information interview, and it was 3 weeks ago, so I'm waiting for the next steps, but they're posting the job again and again, like I've seen twice on LinkedIn. So should I just move on and think that I'm not their candidate and just not even think about them anymore?
Go ahead and take that because you...
Network.
Well, I am connected to the okay, so keep networking. Okay, that doesn't mean that they have blacklisted me and they don't want to see my resume again?
Quite often it means they don't have enough candidates to conduct the search because they want to talk with everybody in about the same time frame. And they may have you.
There's all sorts of things that happen.
When I was applying for jobs, I had a very good interview, and then they sent me a personality assessment test. And a week later, I got the note, "You're not a person we want." And it's bad enough when you get turned down for a job. It's bad enough when they ghost you, but when they say, "You flunked the personality test."
In other words, you were too good for that.
Must have been it. Okay.
That's right. So guys, I hate to do this because it's real good, isn't it? But you know, we've got to let Ruth go to lunch sooner or later around here.